Hey, what's going on, people? We are back with another episode of Man Talk in the Man Cave, and we are talking today about trying to be the father that you never had. That is a touchy subject for all of us that are on here today because it comes with strength and then it comes with pressure. And what that entails is the fact that being strong is because you're trying to be better than what you didn't have, and the pressure is we don't have the tools. So listen, we're gonna talk about this today, y'all. Man talking to me.
You won't want to miss this conversation tonight. Yeah. We're getting real. No topic is off limits. That's right. Join us right here in the Man Cave.
What's up, fellas? Got my boy back in the house. I'm your boy, Pastor J. Y'all introduce yourselves.
Once again, this is Big Lou from Straight Black Coffee, baby. How y'all doing today?
And this Stony J from the A.
Stony J from the A and do it the bars, man. Yeah.
Hey,
the bars, man.
Yes, sir. Throw something out there, man.
Something like that, man. That's what's up, man. Man, let's just jump right into it, man. You know, this is definitely a touchy subject, man. You know, and I really believe each and every one of us on here today have experienced that absenteeism, man. And you know, let's first, man, let's talk about what y'all believe fatherhood is. You know what I'm saying? Let's start from there, man. What do you believe fatherhood is?
Ooh, I'll say that fatherhood is almost your circle completion, bro. I mean, it's if you do it in that direct and that kind of order, I'm gonna say you meet your girl, you get married, work on a few things, have a kid, and then here come the real show, man. I mean, fatherhood is the foundation that you put in your house and in your kids, and that's to start them on their way. I will start off by saying fatherhood don't come with a book. So, we tend to copy or model what we got. And that can be good and bad sometimes.
Jay, what you say?
That's true. Fatherhood is just responsibility. That's the best way I can say it. It's like responsibility, because a lot of times when we find ourselves with kids, let's say kids or children, and we have to find a way to give them a guidance or direct them into a way that we see fit. And like Lou said, sometimes it may be good, it may not be bad, but it's what we then picked up on traits as what we feel like we need and what we can do to protect what we have. Because I feel like every man should protect what you have. And when the kids do come, it's like, what do I do? So truthfully, I'm gonna say, honestly, I really had to learn what fatherhood was, because I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
I had to learn. And every day I'm still learning. Like, I'm learning every day. There's no finish when you got it ain't no finish. Like, I can't even give you an ending till I get to the ending. It's like fatherhood is it's a journey. It's a journey of protection. That's it.
Right.
Ups and downs, highs and lows, bro.
Hey, boy.
Basically, first of all, let's go here. To be a father, you gotta be present. You gotta be there. You know what I'm saying? You can't be a father fathering from not being there. So I believe first and foremost, a father gotta be present. And then as being present, then you show love with accountability. It's protection, it's provision, you know what I'm saying? It's all of these things, you know what I'm saying? It's leadership, it is accountability, you know what I'm saying? It's all of these things, man, that we've learned as being a man, you know what I'm saying? And all of us on here are husbands. So, we had to learn this leadership just being married, but that actually is an example of fatherhood, because, too, with that, it represents God. I always got to go, spiritually, but God, who is our Father, what does He do? He provides for us, He protects us, He cares for us. You know what I'm saying? He he keeps us from harm. You know what I'm saying? He loves us from, no matter what we do. So, that's just like my example of what fatherhood is, man. And with that being said, I believe each and every one of us had, me speaking, and like the relationship me and my father have today is unmatched, man. And I thank God for the relationship that we do have. But there was a period when he was not there. And when he wasn't there, because he wasn't there, it caused a level of anger that I displayed. And, because I displayed that anger, I mean, that anger, it kind of came forth in a lot of relationships that I got in. It caused me to have kids at a young age because I was displaying anger, and I felt like having sex would kind of like, it would kind of hide the fact that I was angry. So this was me having sex saying, you know what, this is a moment where I feel good. Come on, we keeping it real. I feel good. So I'm gonna go out and solve my oaths. And so I don't have to think about me being angry and not really knowing it. The crazy part was I was upset and didn't even realize it was, because the way I responded to things, the way I was triggered about things. So, that really caused me to do some things that I shouldn't have done. You know what I'm saying? And with that, I didn't want my son to kind of experience, the same anger that I had. So I overcompensated being there. Like I was there when I didn't have to be, because I said, I don't want him to be without. So you know what I'm saying? So it was just it was crazy, man. And I know a lot of young men experience that, man. What do y'all say?
I think that I like that you went to some of the pain issues or whatever, because fatherhood, just like being a husband, it don't really come with a book. You know what I'm saying? So you can read about fathers and supposedly good fathers and all of that, but you don't never really know till you become one. Like, I actually, I say, I had serious ups and downs with my fathers. Like my daddy was probably one of the best dudes that I'd ever met in my whole life. I mean, he was an excellent father, excellent provider, but at the same time, he had flaws that probably he never overcame from his time. You know what I'm saying? Like, they grew up in them times where, his daddy probably, ran the streets, came home and raised hell in the house all night. You know what I'm saying? And, I didn't have that. I had a more stable home, but there was some hell raising in there that scarred me, bro. Like, I mean, for real. Like, and this is my truth. It's not, I got a sibling. My sibling might not even see it the same way, but the things that I saw, was earth shattering to me. That was what I call the bad side or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I really look at it like, my dad was my hero and my rage at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Because some of the things that I saw or I witnessed as a child, I had to go to counseling for, man. I'd have nightmares about some stuff till I was 45 years old. I'm 59 years old now. You know what I'm saying? So, you get your heaven, you get your nightmares. He was my role model and my rage at the same time. I had to compartmentalize all of that stuff, and when you start compartmentalizing, then you start repressing. You know what I'm saying? So I might have overcompensated with my kids by trying to be everything that my dad wasn't. And I mean, my dad was solid, bro. I mean, like when it comes down to being a good daddy and a provider, and he told us he loved us and all kind of stuff like that, I do all of that. But the stuff that my daddy showed me that I didn't like, you best believe I ain't never did that. And I'm just not. I mean, it's our responsibility to improve on what we had. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna do the same thing he did, if he was doing the same thing his daddy did, then he didn't do it right. But I know towards the end, when we had our last two kids, out of all the stuff, I ain't never heard my daddy apologize for nothing that he did wrong, and he knew he was wrong. I mean, wouldn't apologize for nothing. Like his tongue will stick to the roof of his mouth. You know what I'm saying? But the best thing he ever told me is that he thought that I was a better daddy than him, and that's what I hold on to, even in my own flaws, because I mean, and to me, he was ice, and at the same time, he was, fire. You know what I mean? So I'm still living that truth. I told y'all this one here is kind of hard on me, man, because my dad, we had unfinished business when he left here, and he's only been gone about 2 years now, and he took that apology to the grave with him. He wasn't gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? And I just know that I would never do my kids like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that I know that a lot of times, because of some things that we don't know as fathers, we try to mask the fact that we don't know things. So we try to be perfect when we're raising our kids. But I really believe that it's okay for us to learn as we go. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey man, I don't know this, man. Let's figure it out together. You know what I mean? Like, some of us, we try to put on this facade like we do have it, and it's only because of what we've experienced. So we try to be perfect and to our kids, but they don't care about how perfect we are, as long as we're there.
Yeah, all you got to do is be. I'm with you on that.
Yeah,
I'm with you on that.
that's the key, is to be. Yeah,
Yeah, just be. You ain't got to be perfect. I mean, like if you like in my situation, I'm sure y'all's too. The stuff that you recognize that bothered you or that threw you off, that just wasn't goddamn right. You know what I'm saying? It's your duty to not do that. It's your duty to improve on that. And no, I'm not gonna come on here and bash my daddy to death, because he's already gone anyway. But the things that I'm bashing on, my kids have never seen that. My kids have never had to walk in the house and hear people talking loud, or to feel uncomfortable, or you walk in the house and trying to feel the climate of the house. The climate in the house going to be constant. The climate in the house going to always be safe. The climate in the house is going to always be the way the father sets the tone for it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know about you fellas, man, but I've been married 25 years, bro. And I promise you, if I could say that me and my wife got loud with each other, it has been 3 times in 25 years. My brother-in-law think we crazy. You know what I'm saying? He's like, y'all don't argue at all? I said, we don't argue. We don't do that. We don't do stuff like that. We agree to disagree. And we model that for our kids. You know what I'm saying? So there's nobody that one of my daughters gonna marry that's gonna come in the house raising hell talking shit. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not what they're accustomed to. They're not marrying me, but they definitely not marrying nobody that's that far away from me. You understand what I'm saying?
Example down, you know what I'm saying? You laid the foundation. So this is
absolutely. And my foundation, bro, was to be better than my own daddy was. And I think even from my daddy, when he told me that I was better than him. So that was probably the most righteous thing that he ever gave me. You know what I'm saying? This one, man, I'm telling you, bro, I'm holding on for y'all today, man, because I'm not healed from all the way from this loss. You know what I'm saying? And I promised my kids I wasn't taking nothing to the other side with me without them knowing about it. And I'm not, I'm gonna give it to y'all. I'm gonna talk to y'all too. Y'all my boys on this here, but I'm talking to everybody that's watching this show. Man, all you gotta do is take all of the good stuff that you get from your parents and the bad stuff that you've seen, throw that shit away. I mean, don't even let them see that kind of shit. You have got to upgrade on what you had. If you don't upgrade on what you had, that's like each generation needs to be smarter than the last one. So, I'm gonna show my granddaughter that I was the best grandfather that she gonna ever have. Because I know after all said and done, my daddy improved on who he was with my kids. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm glad about that. But some of them flaws that he kept, I'm not keeping those, bro. I'm not gonna be like that.
So I agree. I agree with you on that one, Lou. I ain't mean to cut you, Jess.
No, I'm gonna ask you a question anyway. So
go for your question, then I'll finish it up. Go ahead. What's your question?
No, go ahead.
So, because that's something I had a problem with too, and I can't look at. I used to. I'm gonna say I used to. I found my daddy is. Let me say I found my father as full of excuses. That's what I found him as. And it was always, hey, what's going on? And it was more of a, well, I got to do this. I got to do this for them. I got to do this and I got to do this. And I'm like, oh, all right. But our conversation shouldn't be this every time I meet you. Because that trick, that angered me. That pissed me off. Like, dog, I look everywhere for you. Now, what's up? And all I hear is, I had to do it. And I'm like, I don't want to hear that. This is upsetting me. So everything I learned from how to deal with my children, I done did it out of fear. I have really did it out of fear. Because a lot of times I see the mistakes and I see the road they going, and it's like sometimes I hold back and it's like, man, I don't want you like that. Or it's to a point where communication has affected me and mine because of the flaws that came along with him. And it's like, I don't really know how to deal with that. I mean, I'm getting better. I'm getting better because I didn't bypass and forgave for all of that, even though it still trigger once in a while, but it don't bother me.
Yeah.
Because I have learned that in order for me to grow, I gotta forgive him, move on, understand his situation. Even if I don't understand it, just understand you probably did what you could or did what you did, but I can't let these be that way. So
Right.
I'm getting better with I'm getting better with communicating with mine. Because I was very, during the time of having children, I could say I was very selfish. I was very selfish because I didn't want to express my feeling because I felt like everybody was gonna give me an excuse. So every man that I went to as a brother or whatnot, I looked at to find things that they could do or I could do to take my mind off of everything else, but didn't realize what was in front of me. And I think that was one of the traits that I picked up from with my father during my time of growing. So now that I grow, it's like now I can see my children in me. And when it gets to a point, it's like, hey, y'all go be with your granddad. Or when he get them, the things that he I guess he wanted to do for me, he couldn't. So now that the grandkids go over, it's like, I could do this for y'all. Let me do this. Let me do this. And I used to. Now I used to be like, damn, you didn't even do this for me. But then I realized there I go again. I'm being selfish because of what I saw. But you know what? I said, you know what? Let them get a chance to experience something you didn't. But you learn from it and you take part of that into your parenthood to teach them
You know what
that.
That's deep, bro. That's real deep. And
Yeah,
Pastor
that's
J, what Stoney doing is allowing his daddy to get better. You know what I'm
oh, yeah.
saying? Like you're not being selfish. You almost like reminiscing, just kind of wishing that he was able to do that stuff for you. But you also giving him that pathway to be that better man, that better father through the grandkids. And I saw the same transformation, but I'm telling you, by that time, my kids, he was rock solid. You know what I'm saying? But they had they still had those fallback flaws, bro, that was damaging. And then being my dad, I don't know how I know I'm older than y'all, man, but my daddy died at 85. So when he was coming up, I don't know what the deal was with brothers back then, man, but like I'm telling you, they never apologized and said I'm sorry for nothing, bro. If I stepped on my kid foot the wrong way at 2, I was on my knee in front of them, letting them know that I apologize for what I did. And that's why I think my kids are so articulate, and my wife is the same way, that they know how to apologize. They know how to get better. They look for the good in people. You know what I'm saying? And I sometimes I look back and think that I made some mistakes with them, and I know I made some mistakes with them, but I didn't make mistakes that scarred them. You understand what I'm saying? Like I could have been a little rough, say on the punishment, because I'm an ass kicker, bro. If I tell but I'm also the type of person I'm gonna talk to you 2 and 3 times before I cut that ass. So my kids will tell you right now, and my youngest is 22. They earned that when it came down for that. they earned it because I talked about it, preached about it, prayed about it. They didn't want to. If you still didn't want to do it, then I'm gonna go old school and we'll cut it out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's
You know
just
what
that's big blue, dog.
You know what I realized, fellas? Like behavior is learned. Behavior is learned. And a lot of times you think that we generationally cursed, but it's not that we're cursed. It's just that we've inherited behavior that we've seen in the house, because a lot of times what's in our environment is what raises us. So with me knowing that and understand that, it made me have more grace for my father, because it's like, dang, just like I didn't know, I don't believe he knew. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just like the same behavior, because I'm sure his daddy was like that, because we inherit a lot of behavior that our fathers did. You know, sometimes
When did you recognize that though, Pastor Jay? When did you recognize that though?
I recognized that when I had my kid. It was like, hey, this thing is not as easy as I thought it was. You know what I'm saying? It's like, wait a minute, hold on. Okay, I was fearful of being there because I had my kid when I was young. So I'm like, dang, I don't know what to do. So I kind of shied away. You know, I kind of hid a little bit, which made me say, dang, that's probably why my dad hid a little bit, because he probably didn't know either. You know what I'm saying? And so the thing is, just like, you know, I had wanted the grace, I had to extend that same grace that I wanted with my kids, that I had to extend it to my father, to say, you know what, dang, maybe he didn't know. You know, maybe he didn't have the information either. Because like we said earlier, you know, there's no book on it. You know, we don't have the information. So I'm sure if we don't have the information, then they didn't have the information either. And you know, and back then they didn't even have the resources.
They definitely didn't have the information. They wasn't even allowed to say. You couldn't even say nothing contrary to your daddy back then. You know what I'm saying? But you know, but you shouldn't be training to try to get your revenge on him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I'm telling you, I didn't have some. I had some bizarre feelings, bro. And I mean, it's like, you know, planning things, and you know, just you know. I think that's why I'm a protector to this day, man. That's how I started off my career in law enforcement, man, because I wanted to protect people who couldn't, you know, protect themselves, and you know. But and you are definitely on the right path. I think the main thing that I did was I realized young that I didn't want to be like that. Like the certain things that I saw that my dad did that was excellent and loving, the shit that made me want to cling to him. That's what I hung on to. Anything else that I saw that was bizarre, crazy, out of control type stuff that you know not supposed to happen in the house, some book stuff, you know what I mean, that you know that's not supposed to happen. I already said that I was not going to do that. I was not going to be like that, and I made that vow. So you know, I knew I was going to be a kind of night and day. I mean, I still have a aggressive side to me, but it is never towards my wife or towards my kids. You know what I'm saying? I use my demeanor to create an element of safety for kids. And I'm still doing that. I mean, like every school that I ever worked in, I always had kids, and I look at the kids in my school as my own children, and they feel that. They tell me that every day. I mean, that's how my name in the school is Pops. It's not Mr. Lewis, you know what I'm saying? I'm everybody's daddy. I'm everybody's grandfather. And I let them know that. I love those kids. They tell me they love me back. They say that all day. And it's, you know, somebody got to be a good parent to them, so that I feel like that's my job. I'm gonna be that guy, you know, at school. And you know, if you graduate, some of my kids have graduated, I still keep in touch with them. But you know, I think we got to do that. We got to father everybody kids, because if we know what's the best way to do it, then we need to teach them. If they're not getting anything, we got to teach them. You know what I'm saying? Once we done became self-aware, we got to give it to somebody, or it's gonna get lost again. You know what I'm saying? I'm with y'all boys on that, man.
I do believe this too, fellas. You know, let me know what y'all think. It's like, no matter where you are as a parent, you cannot stay in that place. Because that be a level of growth in your emotions, in your pain, in your not knowing. You know, you have to grow. So as long as you don't stay where you are, then I believe that you'll have what you need to be, and not even being in where you're comparing yourself, like, I want to be better than my dad. You know what I'm saying? I believe it's about growing. I believe it's about just not staying in the same place. What y'all say about that?
That's 100. That's 100.
I agree with that. Yeah, you can't stay in the same place.
Mm-mm.
Even today,
Growth is
my patience getting very good. but just tolerating certain things though, it's there. But I had to learn how to manage it. Like
a better way to
the
communicate
older
it,
you
huh, bro?
get,
Yeah.
yeah, I was trying to think of a way to articulate it, but I'm telling you,
Yeah. It's
it's
always
there.
there,
It's like
Stoney. It's always
you
there.
can't
All that stuff we put back. We put back. It could take just the right word from the right person, and it'll pop out. You know what I'm saying? It's something
yes
that gotta
sir.
be controlled because your daddy is your first role model, man. That's your superhero. That's your Superman, bro. And when Superman got kryptonite in his back pocket that make him do stuff sometimes that's kind of wacky. You see that, you be like, man, I don't want to do that. But that stuff be embedded in you a little bit. That's why Jay said we got to keep growing. You know what I'm saying? I remember when my daughter came back from college, my oldest daughter, she came home one time and she was talking to me about something. And I was like, well, what do you think about it? And blah, 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 blah. That was like when I first started doing interventions and studying behavior, when I started getting into I'm a behavior specialist by trade, an interventionist or whatever. But she went upstairs and was like, told my wife, like, hey, Mom, what's wrong with Daddy? She was like, he not, he's different. She was like, well, you've been in college for 2 years. Shouldn't he grow? I mean, is he going to be the
Yeah.
same dude when you come back? You know what I'm saying? So, man, what's fun, though, dog, is when you do that and you start seeing other kids, other children do that you influence. Like, it's funny to me. I got some of my girls at school, they actually are like, when a kid do something, they say, well, what made you feel like that? And how did you handle that when you got to that point? And I'm sitting there listening to them like, somebody gonna replace me one day. I'm about to retire. You know what I'm saying? But when they start listening to you, then you beating it. You feel me? Like
Yeah.
whatever the stuff that you learning how to do now, and the way you've made your adjustments, and the way you've been able to temper your spirit. You doing the same thing with your kids. They gonna be better than you. And the object is for them to be better than you. And then their kids gonna be better than them. And then you don't have no more bullshit in the black family no more. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, that's what I'm doing. And not just black families, just all families, man. Because daddies do a whole lot, man. They if you don't have the right kind of daddy, you ain't gonna really get too far. So it is what it is.
So they said, my wife said, Big Lou, it sounds like that's the way he apologizes, by saying you were a better parent than him.
Yeah. It took me a long time to realize that too. I mean, like, that was a huge apology that I felt was owed. And like I told y'all, he never really said that. You know, he never would really say, my bad, or I apologize, I wronged you, or something like that. Which I'm easy to say. I can be corrected. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I felt that was some years before the incident that I'm talking about now. But that's what I go back to hold on to, man, because the way he left wasn't really good. It was an easier way to resolve everything, because I mean, you could probably tell in my tone, I adore my daddy, you know what I'm saying? But some of the things that went down was heavy, and I had to protect my own, I'm gonna be daddy in this house all the time. You understand what I'm saying? So when it came towards this house, I'm the keeper of the gate over here, bro. Like Stoney said, that's when I'm gonna go back to being who and what I really am when it comes to this house. You know what I'm saying? But I've seen him. I know a lot of people don't really believe in all of that, but after a couple of months after he was gone, I seen him, and he didn't really look all that well from me looking over there. You know what I'm saying? In the dreams. But just recently, like a month ago, I saw him again, and he looked happy, and we was at peace. You know what I'm saying? I mean, to the point where, like, I saw him in a dream, and I hugged him, and I actually felt his presence. And I don't care who don't believe it. I don't care who think I'm crazy or not. But I know that night I hugged my father from the other side. And that was the only time that he ever told me he was sorry. And he didn't say it then. He just by the way I felt him. I mean, I knew that's what he meant. So that's
what you
why I'm
needed.
able to move on now. I'm able to move on now because, man, I was mad, bro. Like, I mean, mad. I would never leave
And you
my
know what,
child like that.
Lou? And he probably came to you because that's when you needed him the most.
Yeah.
And
It was getting
that's
rough,
the
Tony.
thing.
It was getting rough,
And
bro. For real.
and the only person that could save you was somebody that you admired. And through the
Yeah.
power of Christ, your father was present to you to give you that hug, to let you know everything's all right, so you can have that reset.
Yeah.
You see,
I received
that's
that,
why
dog. I received that, bro.
like a lot of times we get like we get upset with men, we get upset at our fathers, but we got to learn to forgive and move on and learn. And because if we carry our anger to our children or we treat our children like that, we'll never break what's passed through generations.
Mhm.
Mhm.
We got to learn to forgive, let go, and move forward. Every day we wake up, it's something new that we see, it's something new that we touch, it's something new that we meet, it's always something different. And if I feel like if Jesus can forgive me, he can forgive him. Because I
Oh
can
yeah.
go back to like what you said. They might not been ready to be a dad. I don't know your situation. I can't say I was in the same household with mine. I don't know. Up until this day, we don't know what each other like or nothing. But I know that I can say, hey, you still my daddy. And all that's in the past, that can go. Because why keep uncovering scars when we trying to heal?
Yep.
We understand what cut. I understand a knife cut. But if I put that knife to the side, I ain't got to worry about being cut. I can work on what I need to work with this knife to heal myself.
Yes,
Absolutely.
sir.
So, we just gotta give grace, man. I mean, give grace to
Gotta
understand
give you.
because anger,
Yeah.
yeah,
I tell
because
people
anger
all the
gonna
time. I tell people
go
all the
ahead.
time, Tony, that because I was one that when I was young, and I was mad at my mom. I was mad at her
Mm-hmm.
because I was living with her, and it was time for me to go. I was a young man at this point now, so it's time for me to learn. My mother couldn't give me nothing else. You know what I'm saying? So she had to like release me, so I had to figure it out. So I was mad at my mother for 5 years. When I say
Mm,
5 years, I was mad at her for 5 years. And the day that
mm,
I made up with her, she died the week later.
mm,
So I
Wow.
was upset with myself because I spent all of this time being upset at her when I could have let that go and talked about it, saying, and let her know, hey ma, I didn't like that, how you feel. I probably could have understood her. But I was so mad at myself, especially with me being the oldest sibling. I'm sitting there looking at my mom on a respirator, and I had to give the doctors permission to pull the plug. And when they pulled the
mm.
plug and she was not breathing no more, I like literally lost my whole being at that time. So I tell people, man, just when it comes to your parents, man, especially your parents, don't hold on to the grudge, man. Don't waste time, don't waste valuable time being upset. Like utilize that time to try to make things better. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing I can I say. And then there's a question that we have there that I want you guys to chime in on. It says,
All right.
how does it affect the son when the mother talks bad to the son about the father?
Hey
Ooh,
man, I'm gonna say that right now, bro. That's like, you know, I went through a divorce, and then I like to say I got my good wife. You know what I'm saying? And it's and I'm saying I got my good wife because I didn't pick her. I actually asked God to pick her. You know what I'm saying? I picked the first one. I got a beautiful daughter out of it, man. I mean, she's outstanding. But it wasn't the right pick, dog. It just wasn't the right pick. So I mean, I'm just I think that we got to make sure that we teaching that early, man. Like what you were saying, Pastor Jay. It's just doing it. Everything got to be in good order. Like we know now because we've been through the stuff. The whole deal, like Stone said, is we got to teach it now. You know what I'm saying? So they won't do that, and then you don't have nobody. In relationships, I never spoke bad about my ex-wife when my daughter was around. Now I might vent when she wasn't around when I was in my space, you know what I'm saying? But you never talk about kids' parents. I mean, they always got the other parent. So if my daughter was at my house, I would never say nothing about her mom, even though her mom was, to me, was doing some wild shit. And at the same time, she probably thought I was acting up. You know what I'm saying? But you hear things from one side to the other, you know what I'm saying? And vice versa. But I know on my end, that's not gonna happen. We're not gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? And we got a situation like that kind of in my house right now, not between me and my wife, but we make sure that we don't speak ill of the other person, the other parent. And because we don't, even though the child ain't but like 5 months old, 4 months old, we don't want to do that. You don't want to have an atmosphere of talking bad about somebody else's parent. And then you influencing the child to kind of like hate on their own daddy or their own mama. Because if you the person of influence, you the provider, you can control the atmosphere, and that'll ruin the child against their own. I don't want no kid having no doubt against their own father or mother, man. So you just don't talk about people. I almost went off. But just don't do that, man. Just don't do that.
You know what it does, though? You know what it does? It gets on that. You got okay. But you know what happens? Let me tell you what happens. Let me tell you what happens. What happens is the mother is upset with the father. And what she does is she puts her emotions on the son. So now the son is getting a feeling about the dad that ain't even got nothing to do with the son. Because that's not her problem, it's not his problem.
Right.
So what we're doing is we're putting our grown feelings on a kid, which is not right. So now they gotta grow up with this anger that ain't got nothing to do with the kid.
Bro, that's because people don't want to get on the damn couch, bro. You got to get on the couch. You need to get on the chair. Because if you don't realize that you're destroying your kid by the image of their own father or the image of their own mother, because we do it too. You know what I'm saying? We gonna end up messing over the kid. What I eat don't make my kids shit. So why would I turn around and put my stuff in my kid? You know what I'm saying? They can't feel what I'm feeling because they don't know that. So all you doing is you giving them the bite of the poisonous apple. You feeding it to them and trying to hope what they gonna do. I'm gonna be on my daddy's side, nigga. You 5 years old. You know what I'm saying? We're not feeling. That's crazy. You know what I mean? But that's how they do it though. They use kids as pawns. And I'm saying they, but I'm not necessarily talking about the women because men do it too. Use their kid as a pawn against the other one. I mean, bro, that's juvenile at best. You know what I'm saying? But that's hurting other people.
Yeah, and then they don't think. A lot of time, people don't think about the effect of that child. Like it's so. I say selfish. It's still selfish. No matter your thoughts and your feelings, it's still selfish. And the crazy part, I went through something like that, but they kept saying that what was told to me, my child could not, my daughter couldn't come see me unless she was doing good. So me trying to discipline her, I couldn't do that. She couldn't come see me. She couldn't do that. It's been other times that I'm just putting it out there. Well, we don't know how that emotionally. If we emotionally drain our children to a point where we don't know how it's going to affect them later on in life. It could break their pride. It could break their confidence. It can break their will. It can break it's so many things that can be broken because just like you said, Lou, people won't get on the couch. They put so many grown so much grownness on a child,
Mm-hmm.
and a child can only make the decisions. I don't know what it like to be with daddy. I don't know what it like to be with mama. But I realized this. Once you come together, I I'm one of those kids. I can say that I'm one of those kids because I did have my grandma. Your dad ain't this. I had your mama ain't this. I had people doing it all in my ear. But I had to come to realization that who are you? Who are you?
Yeah.
Like you got this to say, but when I go over there with them, they all right. When I go over here with her, she all right. Well, who are you again?
Yeah.
And
Who are you?
it's like but that's what they got to it's like that's what we got to see. Like if take we could take so much pressure off our kids, and we can contain the situation if we learn how to think logically and not emotionally
Yeah,
about the situation.
yeah,
Because some of
Because
that
we do,
old shit that's staying in the child place that's what it was. You know, like you didn't like what I see now being because I work with kids every day
they
is
want to be
that
their friend.
they too much under their parents. Like they know everything that's going on. I mean, like parentification of a child is bad because a child can't make parental type decisions. You know what I'm saying? If you give them some parentification, meaning like how to manage things, how to, like showing them how the house work, how to budget and stuff like that. That's good parentification. You can't parentify a child by mess. If you and your homegirls is talking about somebody, or you and your boys is talking down about these H's and all of that there, or these B's and all of that there, that kid don't need to be around that. You know what I'm saying? Because really, you shouldn't be talking like that anyway. But if you gonna talk like that, barbershop talk, that kid don't necessarily need to be there. You know what I'm saying? You don't. I mean, you want them to know the ways of the world, but not that early. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You teach kids where the potholes are so they don't step in them. You don't teach them how to respond when nothing has happened already. You can't have a preconceived notion of response, when nothing has happened already. That's gonna make somebody, basically pull a gun at the wrong time. You know what I'm saying? He gonna shoot off at the wrong time. You know what I mean? Because he
That's
done
true.
heard too much stuff. Let a kid be a kid, man. I'm with you, Stoney. Just let him be.
And just
yeah.
let them
We
be a
living in
kid, man, because you
yeah,
you draining them emotionally. You draining
Yeah.
them
yeah.
emotionally,
And
and
it's
you don't
more
look at
so
it and
now than
say,
back when we was doing it. It's
We
harder
living
now
in
than when we was doing it.
living in that
but
time today where parents look like parents include kids. Like, yeah, I agree with both of y'all said.
Go ahead and say it. Say it. They
say
include
it.
them in their shit. They include
Yeah,
them
Yeah,
in
they
their
do. They
shit.
include them. Yeah, they do.
yeah, they put
I
them
know you
and they
can't talk
involve
like
them.
that, Pastor Jay.
But we got
Yeah,
you.
they put them in. They put them in parental issues, and they are talking and literally they're talking to each other like this is homegirl or this is my boy, and you talking to your kid about your grown issues, and they don't and not remembering that in these adolescent stages and these teenage stages, these are where identity is being shaped. These are where emotions are being shaped.
Yeah,
This is where self-awareness is being shaped. So if you are interrupting this process of development, then they go straight to missing this and go straight to dealing with your emotions. And then so when they get later on in life and they get with somebody, guess what they dealing with? They happen to go back to that process of development because they missed that out being your adult friend at a young age.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm
They
saying?
keeping me in business on
they
my
can't be a
job.
kid no more.
They keeping me in business on
Yeah,
the job, bro.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
yeah.
But they
They gonna
just
continue
let
doing it
them be
because
kids, man. Let them be
Let them be
kids. They
kids. Let them be kids. That's one
but
thing I did,
the
man.
crazy
I
part
always
is
told my son. Yeah, I'm
okay.
sorry. Yeah, yes, Tony. I'm sorry.
no. Go ahead. Go ahead. No,
That, that
go. I got you right after. Go ahead.
that was one thing that I always did with my son because I was in a situation with my son and his mom. I mean, she argued with me if he needed lotion and he wasn't at the house with him, he was with me. She argued with me. But what I did was I did everything in my power. We was in Atlanta and I had him in basketball, I had him in football. You know what I'm saying? We went to the the car game. We went to the Six Flags, and I made sure no matter how bad I struggled to do it, I made sure he was a kid when he was little. So now, you know, he's dealing with adult stuff now because he's an adult. My son's 25. But at the end of the day, when he was a kid, I didn't even talk bad about. But you know what? We didn't even think about that. We gonna have some father and son time. Let's roll out, huh? And so in these moments, I was able to teach him certain things that he needed to know as a young man that he was gonna have to face going old, as he got older. So that was something that I made sure that I did. You know what I'm saying? And I believe as fathers, that's what we have to do. No matter what the situation looks like, these are opportunities that we give, even what we've experienced. Hey, son, when I did it this way, it didn't work. I got locked up and I got put in jail for arguing like that. Don't even argue. It ain't even worth it. Just walk away. That's a learning lesson for him to, dang, okay. So when he argues with his girl, it'll go back in his memory. Dang, I remember when my dad told me this is why, because look how crazy she acting right now. You know what I'm saying? So let's utilize those times for teachable moments.
Stay ahead of the game.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. But listen,
get him, Stoney.
Hey, man, I can't do nothing but agree with that, man. Cause it's just like Pastor Jay said. Majority of them, they just want to be their friend.
Yeah.
And the crazy part is they relate to friends that you're trying to be. And when I say that is, you got kids, you got parents. Well, I'm gonna say babies raising babies and babies raising ladies. Because and boys raising men raising boys. But at the end of the day, when we treat you like our friend, do you even understand what kind of friend you're being treated like? So as you get older, you started doing stuff that I get upset with you about. How could I allow myself to get upset with what you do, what I have taught you?
Preach.
So if I sit and teach you, you my friend, and you go out here and you doing something I expect somebody of my friend maybe, or some clown or somebody, they go out here and do wrong, and you go out here and do wrong. Do I have the authority to address you when I've been treating you like a friend the whole time? I can't go into parent mode then. I can't decide when I want to be a parent. I can't. My kids know, hey, that daddy, that ain't my friend. I'm not your friend. I'm not your homeboy.
I ain't gonna never be their friend.
I'm not none of them.
And I'm not saying it in a malicious way. I'm with you, Stoney. I ain't gonna never be my kid's friend because I want to keep my station. If I'm a good daddy, if I'm the role model daddy, you know what I'm saying? I can be closer to my kids, but the conversation gets better and better. As they get older and they start having kids, our conversation is closer. But I am daddy. I am not your homeboy. If you try to treat me like I'm your homeboy, one of your best friends, I'm gonna bust your ass. Because my whole deal is, if y'all open, y'all grown men, and y'all be around kids too. If you watch how they treat their friends, you know damn well you can't treat me like that. Kids treat other kids bad. I mean, like, bruh, you know what I'm saying? Some of the stuff that they say to each other, we would be like in the ditch, squabbling. You know what I'm saying? So my whole deal is, you can't never look at this daddy, Big Lou daddy, as my homeboy. My daughters would never say that. My son would never say that. My daddy is my homeboy. My daddy is my best friend. You gonna say my daddy is my best daddy? That nigga is not your friend. You know what I'm saying? And I want to be as close could be, super tight.
That comes with respect.
Yeah, because if you put me on your level, you think you can say whatever you want to say to me, and you can't say whatever you want to say to me. You know, even when my daddy, I had a reverence. A strong reverence for my daddy. You know what I'm saying? He was that man. He was my daddy. That's why I'm using the term daddy now. The only time that you could be anything else is when you break that code. And if you break that code with me, then you just a regular dude to me. And I mean, the daddy part is over with. And I would never want to lose that status with my kids. You understand? So I'm gonna always treat them right, and I'm gonna always treat them where they proud to call me daddy. My name is Casey. My name is Casey Lewis. Casey Sean Lewis, my government name. But if I die and my kids bury me, they could just put dad on the headstone, and bro, everybody will know. Because if I got 3 kids, bro, but I probably have raised about 700-800 kids in what I do now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm I want to be known as a daddy. That's it. I don't have to be known for nothing else. My wife on the backside, she could put husband or man on the other side, but it ain't got, my name don't really mean nothing. I don't have to be first. I'm trying to make my kids first. All 2,000 of them. That's it.
Right. So let's go.
Okay,
So
Abraham.
We got some thumbs up. Ashley says, she said, we tell them we are better than your friends. We are here until the end. Whenever you need me, we do more than friends do, and we'll do more than any of our children's friends. So don't try to put me in that box. That's true, Ashley.
Absolutely.
Preach.
Absolutely.
Preach.
Yeah. But listen, man, look, man, y'all rock every week, man. Like, this thing is getting better and better. You know what I'm saying? Because I know it's getting better and better because we going past our time. But listen, man. Listen, y'all. Let's not worry about, we say, I guess we let everybody say something in closing, but let's just not worry about trying to be better than our parents, but just being present. Our job as parents today is to be present in our kids, even our grown kids. You know what I'm saying? Because they're going to always need advice no matter how old they get. They're going to always need until, they become, our age one day. You know what I'm saying? They're going to always need that guidance. So let's just stay getting better, stay growing, stay in their lives, man. That's the most important thing. And don't feel like we're trying to because it put pressure on us. That's putting pressure on us to try to outdo what we missed. That's too much pressure. You know what I'm saying? I think if we take that pressure off and really understand that parenting is not by the book, it's about our presence and our obedience, and then we'll grow when it comes to doing what we need to do as fathers. Which I say in our closing.
I feel exactly the same way. But I'm always, me and Pastor Jay, we do the yin and yang, bro. But I'm gonna always be that yang ass nigga because I'm a competitor and I have got to be better than my parents were. And I'm going. That's the path that I'm on. And I tell my kids, nah, you got to be better than me. I'm gonna set the bar high, bro. To where when you say that I know you surpassed my daddy, Big Lou, then we got some good parenting going on in my family tree, man. When I'm gone, this tree still got to go. You know what I'm saying? But my branches gonna be thick, homeboy, because they're just like me, thick. You know what I'm saying? So I want, and I'm not just speaking on my family. I'm speaking on all of the kids that I touch. Every child that I touch, I pour that love into them. I mean, and they know it. Their parents know it. I mean, I got parents walking up to me calling me pops because of how they kids talk about me at home, bro. I'm gonna be that favorite teacher, the one that disciplined you, the one that love on you, the one that guides you the right way. I can't stand for wrong. I gotta stand for right. So that's how I'm gonna always be, man. And that starts at home. That starts at home. And then I'll pass it out all over the place. Everywhere I go, that's what I'm gonna do. You see that in the church where we go to church at. I'm gonna be their daddy too. And I know them kids got a daddy, but when they're at church, I'm the protector. I'm their daddy at church. I reward for things that you do that's positive. And we're gonna talk about the things you do that's negative. That's it.
Jay, what you got closing out?
Honor thy mother and father.
That your days may be long.
Yeah.
No, but my thing is just don't try to be your kid friend. Teach your kids to be to be better than you, just in case they lose you. That's what I'm gonna say. Treat them good. Understand them. If you don't know, don't be afraid to ask. Let you whatever happened in your past be in your past. Hakuna Matata. But just let it be in your past. Move forward. Pray harder. If you want to know, ask. Your kids are your kids. They're your children. Don't sit and try to make them your friend. That, or you just gonna lose
Agreed.
respect. Respect is just gonna
Agreed.
be gone. Like both Pastor and Big Lou said, times ain't like it used to be. The only thing missing from then to now is respect. Kids had a place and parents had a place. If we take it away, everybody's together. We gotta learn how to decipher what a parent is and what a friend is.
Yes, sir.
That's just
Hakuna
bottom
Matata.
line. Hey,
Yeah, I know Big Lou say he the yang and I'm the yin, but we're gonna leave it at that because I'm not gonna give the other side of it. but yeah, he say be better and I say be there. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not about being a better parent to me, it's about just being a parent. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, we teach growth. So because you're growing, we just want you to be a good parent. You know what I'm saying? So, but you know how we do. The yin and the yang, it always comes back together and it just meets
It's
up.
gonna always fit. That's why it fit. That's why it fit.
fit.
It's gonna always fit, man. But that's our time, y'all. Listen, thank y'all for another week and another dope episode of Man Talk in the Man Cave, y'all. Listen, I'm your boy, Pastor J.
And this Big Lou.
And this Stony J from the A.
Stony J for the A. That get bars, y'all. We out, y'all. We out.